Hi, and welcome back to our series on getting kids to eat healthier and some of the ways to do that. So one of the things I always mention is that getting kids to eat healthier isn't really something you do at the dinner table, but instead it's all these other things you do. Kind of think of it like a curriculum. In today's episode, I want to talk about gardening, and I will tell you gardening is very messy, especially with the younger ones. But it has so many effects on getting kids to eat healthy, which includes understanding where food comes from, and the more that they're active participants in growing the food, the more likely they are to try the new food. So it's something really, really important that I recommend if you have a little bit of space in your backyard or on your windowsill. A lot of these we actually just grew on our windowsill. Okay, now let's show everybody. What did you grow? Is it sunflowers and peas? So we actually just planted these. We went to a farm and they gave us some sprouts, and they're just egg cartons, super easy to do, and they started to grow on the windowsill. So we decided today is the day that we're gonna transplant them into all these beautiful pots.
Very gentle because they're little babies. How are you gentle with babies? How do you show babies nice? Nice. Nice. Very good.
So we're out here with the kids and it's getting really messy, so I kind of just excused them for a minute to get some water, but we'll go back and get them involved. But one of the reasons I want everyone to think about gardening with their kids, so the benefits of gardening with your kids include delayed gratification, because they're learning to plant a little seed and it takes a while for it to sprout, and then it takes even longer for it to produce like maybe a tomato. So it's a really beautiful thing to teach kids delayed gratification. It also teaches kids how to nurture, which is really life. So it's valuable lessons that last a lifetime. Also gardening, the more that they're involved and the more that they garden and they really get to see the fruit of their labor, the more likely they are to try the food. There are a huge percentage of the population of kids who do not know what a real pepper looks like, what a real tomato looks like. They know it through ketchup, but they may not know what an actual pepper looks like. And that seems a little crazy, but it's because so much of our food nowadays is processed. So if you're eating a lot of processed food, you wouldn't relate it to actually what a pepper looks like. So that's one of the most important reasons to start to grow a garden. It also gives them such a sense of accomplishment. Think about it, they plant something, they see it grow, and then they get to pick the fruit and vegetables, and you really, they'll know that they did it all on their own, and that's really exciting. So, just by growing a garden, you're giving them this great sense of accomplishment. There's so much math, science, literacy that all comes into growing a garden. They have to learn seasons and weather patterns. And, even if you don't know that, you'll learn as you go with kids. So if you don't think of yourself as a gardening expert, no worries. It really is pretty easy just to plant a seed that you're eating of a pepper and sprout it on your windowsill. And then you can go ahead and plant it in the ground or plant it into a bigger pot and just watch it take off. A lot of people are really intimidated by growing gardens, and you fail a couple times and then you just replant something else. So take it as a learning opportunity for you and your kids, and it's something really fun for them to do outside. A garden also, if you plant your garden, it could be a great sensory activity. So we're planting a lot of herbs today, and herbs are great for sensory because you get to smell them, you could taste them right off the plant. You could paint with them, and it really gives kids that aroma of herbs and start getting used to that when when rosemary shows up on their chicken or basil shows up on a pizza. So the more herbs that you can grow and get kids to smell them and touch them and taste them right off the plant, the more open they're going to be to experiencing a lot more herbs and flavors and more kind of sophisticated palate as your garden progresses. And that's really what this is all about. It's trying to turn your picky eater into an adventurous foodie, and it all happens not at the dinner table. So I know I say that in these videos, but it's not about forcing kids to try a new food at dinner. It's by gardening with them. It's by reading books about food. It's by prepping food while you cook with it, and by including them in the cooking and grocery shopping experience. These are all different touch points that you're ultimately desensitizing kids to produce and vegetables and herbs. So through play, kids learn the very best. So I encourage you to, grow gardens and make it fun for your kids. And if you have a couple neighbors and you're real close with them, ask them to grow different fruits and veggies and herbs, and your kids could do swaps, kind of like their own little farmer's market. Thanks so much for joining us for today's gardening video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope your kids get out and play in the dirt and grow tons of herbs and veggies. It's a great way to get the kids away from TV. And make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Find us on Pinterest and Facebook and Twitter, Instagram. We're everywhere. In the description below, we have a link to our Amazon store where we have tons of books about gardening and all kinds of supplies that you're going to need to start your garden. So definitely check that out in the description below. And on Pinterest, we have these great boards about gardening that's going to have tons and tons of tips and ideas. So check that out too. It's just pinterest.com/feedingmykid. So thanks so much, and we look forward to seeing you on the next video. Bye.